All right, YouTube, still not feeling that great, but I'm going to dump out another video for you. I'm going to use MAs only. So what I'm going to do in this video here today is I'm going to take Bitcoin on a few different time frames and show you different MAs saying that this might be pretty bad. It's looking really bad, to be honest with you. And we already know that on an EMA basis, but I want to show MA basis. However, at the end of the video, I will show you some really strong and significant hopium on the monthly chart. So it gives this the chance to not be as bad as what it looks. And what could be happening, and I'll show you here, is that this price action that looks really bad could simply be casualty to the idea that big money wants to retest Bitcoin down to the monthly 10. And once it hits it, which it already pretty much has, once it taps it one more time at the beginning of next month, this could really fly up. And that is the true colors of Bitcoin, as opposed to how bad it looks on the weekly and the daily and all that stuff. So I will end with some hopium, but on the other pretty powerful time frames, it's looking bad. And we have a mixed review here. So here we go. Let's dive into it. Take a look. All right, I'm going to start with the 2-day chart. What I have up here is only two MAs, okay? It's the 100 MA, which is the purple line, and the 200 MA, which is the orange line on the 2-day chart. So note that price action, and the reason I'm using the 2-day chart is because the 2-day chart's 200 MA got that wick to perfection, right? So this might be a good chart to stare at. So let's take a look. Okay. Well, it hit the 2-day 200 MA, got back above the 89, then failed to 89. So how many times in history has it done that? So let's go over that one more time. You touch the 2-day 200, so you touch the orange line, go above the purple, fail the purple. Okay? All right, let's take a look. You come down, touch the orange, go above the purple, fail the purple. That's coronavirus. Not good. That's the last time that happened. All right. Here, actually, though, price never got back above the purple, which might be an okay sign. The bear market of 2018 definitely did not do that at all. However, it recently did just do it, and it tanked pretty heavily. Potential black swan event, but all right. Now, if this were drawn out, it'd be here as well. So you touch the 200, you get above the 89, or in the 89, you get above the 100, the purple line, you fail the purple, massive continuation to the downside. So this has only happened a couple times in Bitcoin's price history, right? So once in 2014 during that bear market, and once right before coronavirus. So that's not looking that hot. All right, let's go to the weekly. I'm going to use only the 10, 20, and 55 here on the weekly. All right, so I'm going to take off price for this one. I want you to look at the formation of the red and the yellow right here. So red has gone below. Oh, this is 2 week. I was going to say on the weekly it's opposite. There you go. Ha, that's kind of weird. It's a scissor like this. See scissors, but the yellow's above. But on the weekly, it's exact reverse. That's kind of weird. I was confused for a second because I thought, holy cow, I thought the red was on top. All right, so that's kind of strange. So you see this scissor formation with red as a positive slope, yellow as a negative slope, but both are above the blue line, right? So this is the weekly 10 MA, weekly 20 MA, and weekly 55 MA. Now let's look when this has happened before. So both have a downward slope, so that's not the same type of scissor. Never happened in 2018 bull market or bear market. That's the opposite. So this scissor formation is the opposite because yellow's on top, so that's not it. Here it is. Here's the only other time this formation has happened, both above the 50 MA, but you have red going up and yellow going down. Okay, so let me put price back on so you can see what happened thereafter. No bueno. Price got stuck below the red line and tanked. So let's go to current price, see what's happening. So we're pretty early in this. We're touching the bottom of the scissors, right? I'm not a pattern trader. I hate to use pattern types of names here, but it almost looks like Bitcoin could rally up a little bit and slowly have this weekly 10 go like here, and you could touch the top of this once or twice and not tank until the middle of October. So we might have boring price action with a fake little tiny rally, taking Bitcoin back up to 45K or so for a hot second, not closing too many days up there, and then ultimately getting rejected by the red line and tanking down. That's what this is suggesting. Which means you would get a potential bounce off this yellow, then get rejected by the red, and let the red come down and tank price. So this is all looking pretty bad, right? However, the monthly and the EMAs are not looking bad at all. Watch. I almost think that those time frames, the weekly, daily, 2-day, all that stuff, they might be simple casualties of big money. I don't know, market makers, whatever you want to call folks with a lot of Bitcoin. It almost seems that it might be casualty to the idea that price just needs to retest a couple times after. So look, price came below it, closed below it on this candle, bounced up, came down to recheck, and that might be what's happening. Before a green month in October, who knows, it might not be that big, and then in a bigger green month in November. That's almost what this is suggesting. And to me, this looks fairly similar to this area right here. It's almost to the idea that last September, I mean, this was the September candle. It kind of looks like that's what's happening. Look, you had two green candles, right? As price got above the monthly 10. So here you had, two extra candles. So I'm just starting with this one here after price gets back above 10. So you had a closure below, two green candles that lifted price relatively higher off of the 10. You had a retest down to it in September. In October, you only had 3 red days. And these red days, see that wick right there? They weren't really that steep. But they happened on October 1st, October 2nd, October 3rd, right? To fully, to more potentially bait shorts and all that kind of stuff. Who knows before the liftoff? So let's mark this here. And then go to the daily chart so you can see what I'm saying. So I'll mark the monthly 10 right here. All right, now we'll go to the daily chart so you can see how this worked out. See how that was riding the monthly 10 for a while? All right, where's October? Sorry, like I said, I'm sick. So this is October. This is October 1st, October 2nd, October 3rd. 3 red days, then you recovered rather quickly. And price was riding that monthly 10. It almost seems as if that's what price is wanting to do. So therefore, this fractal, these two fractals that I have, that I'm a fan of, they do align pretty well on the monthly EMAs. And EMAs, I feel, are more heavily traded. No, let's go back to the month. Are more heavily traded than MAs. That is my, I'm not 100% certain of that. However, if this were to be accurate, it looks like price might just want to ride this before really heading up in October and or November. So let me draw this in here so we can see potential any similarities. Okay, I'm going back to the daily so we can see price interaction with this monthly 10. And take a look. When price came above the monthly 10, it came down to recheck it. Price screamed above, coming down to recheck it. So what might be happening is price is simply coming down, gonna ride it. October goes kablam. And November is even bigger. So this monthly chart is, I mean, it doesn't look horrible. I mean, after you come up aggressively above the monthly 10 like this and you only check it for a couple days, this is really healthy to come back down and ride it for a bit to prove it as support. Because this reach test, a quick retest of it here, it didn't fully prove that this is support. It just said, okay, let's touch it real quick. Okay, we can keep going up. Wait, let's go back and recheck it. So from a, independent of what time frame I'm looking at, so technically right now we're looking at both the monthly, which is the blue line, the monthly 10 EMA, and the daily, because each candle is a daily. So we're mixing two charts right here. So I would consider this more looking at the monthly, but with the chaos within each monthly candle, because I'm using daily candles on a monthly 10 EMA here, right? That blue line. So actually, let me make this red so it makes more sense, because my 10s are red. There you go. So it doesn't matter what time frame you're on, even if it's on the 4-hour. If price screams past the 4-hour 10 EMA, right? It's healthy to come back and check it. And then continue its move, or even the daily. Whenever price goes way past the daily, it likes to come back and check it before it continues its move. So on a monthly scale, that might be just what's happening, because it happens across almost all time frames. Happens a ton, especially on the weekly and the daily. It happens so much. And so this need to come down and check this, as the weekly 10 is here, the weekly 21's up here, which all looks horribly bearish. I mean, everything is starting to look horrible, but I think that it's very possible that big money is trading the monthly and the quarterly, which the quarterly does end tomorrow with the monthly as well. It almost looks like price is just being driven down to this monthly 10 for the quarterly close, and then it's going to resume. So the monthly, honestly, it doesn't look that bad at all. And this could end up being extremely healthy for a big, November and, a modest October, maybe October closing potentially lower than this high here. But, the month mostly spending its time here for consolidation for 30 days and then November being really big. I could easily see that. Because price would need to ride this for a while and consolidate, come back down, test it. Then you get to, actually, that's way past November. Test it. End of October. I would say end of October, you start breaking above this, if this is accurate. I think this would take till the end of October. Then you get a closure above here near the end of the month, and then November really starts screaming. That's honestly what I'm seeing here, folks. I think it's going to be a really boring October. And I think November and December could be glorious to the upside if the monthly chart truly is the chart to rule them all right now. And it's possible that it's not. It's possible that these other powerful time frames, like the 2-day, the daily, which are looking horrible, the week is looking horrible. It's very possible that those all together will flip the idea that the month looks good, because it'll cascade into the monthly and it'll drag the monthly down. That's absolutely possible as well. But right now, the monthly chart is looking just fine. And so I wanted to leave you that hopium so that you not only are prepared for downside moves, which I've been preparing, both YouTube and my Patreon Discord community for a while. However, I want you to understand how the monthly closure could affect, Bitcoin price, despite a bunch of signals saying this is going to tank to the downside. This could trump everything. So be ready for it. You could just barely get a wick down into this box, and then boringness. It doesn't ever touch it again. Then it starts taking off in November. So be prepared for that as well. In addition to these downside targets. So even in the idea of hopium, I want you to remember though, the month of October will likely still be boring, and you probably won't get over this hump here at 48K until the end of October. That's what I'm seeing here. But I think as long as Bitcoin can stay boring, right, as opposed to down, the better. So really, you want boring. I'm telling you, the longer it can be boring, the better. And I think that's going to be the first, strong half, maybe first 20 days of October. That's what I'm seeing in the charts on the monthly, okay? And I think you're going to get a lot of pinging off the monthly 10 as it rises up. So that's what I got for you today. New viewers, if you liked what you saw, go ahead and hit subscribe, hit that bell so you can stay in the know. And again, new viewers, I typically cover altcoins as well, but during downtimes in Bitcoin, there's no sense in covering altcoins, especially since I've already given a bunch of downside targets for each of them. You can just probably keep those for the meantime until Bitcoin decides to go up, and we'll see you next time.